This is the rhythm of change. This is the sound of redemption. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. Igniting the fire within you. Exalting the melody of freedom. These are the things that will bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Down, down, down.
Let me tell you, it's in the air. Joy is in the air. Love is in the air. Can you feel it? What you feel like? Freedom. What you feel like? Don't sleep on it, brother. You might get left, sister. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Justice. No need to be counted, cause I am down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down for the end of racism, for the end of bigotry, cause I am down. For the end of misogyny, that's right. For all the isms out there, just down, down, down. Let's bring it down. Rise up, people. No more foolishness, and let's bring it way down.
Riding the river of change into the cries of contrition. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. We are the children of Eden, dancing and celebrating freedom. We are the ones that must bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. We've got to bring it down. Down. Stand up and shout. Stand up and shout. Rise together.
Accountability starts now. The Eric Dawson Radio Show.
Yeah. Rise up. Stand up, shouting loud.
If you are not prepared to come to that table and to represent that voice, don't come. Because we don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice. And if you're worried about being marginalized and stereotyped, please don't even show up.
got to get the production ready earlier. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Eric Dawson Radio Show. I'm here with my man, Vincent Squire, who's on the line.
Hey, good morning, America.
Good morning. Hey,
how's everybody?
Hey, I'm doing well. I'm not everybody, but I'm doing well. I hope people in the thread comment and tell us how they're doing as well. It's a little chilly, Vincent. It's still a little chilly out, man. You know, I went and sat outside today to get some vitamin D rather. Drinking my vitamin C, right? And watching the pigeons exercise, man. You know, now that I'm watching these pigeons closer, I could swear they're actually like doing push-ups, Vincent. Vincent, I swear I saw one on the top of the roof, like doing sit-ups and jumping jacks. Oh gosh! But listen, because you had me go and do some research on these pigeons to try to figure out how they make their way home. It was an interesting article, and part of it talked about I think you said iron, right, in the beak. That is connected to the
electromagnetic pole.
Right.
Yes, called gravity.
Right. So they say that's one. What they think, because they said that, this is all hypothesizing. They also believe that they use the sun as well, right, for direction. And then finally, they believe that they have hypersensitivity, like in terms of smell, to be able to identify the path home. And then they believe that as they get closer to home, much like you and I do, you have landmarks. So it's just fascinating, man. I tell you, I'm going to become an advocate for pigeons now. I know, I went from being a pigeon poacher to now being an advocate for pigeons, man.
But Eric, not only do pigeons have that amount of iron that gives them a sense of direction, but guess who else has a strong amount of iron?
We do. Us? Who?
That's my wife says that's the big reason men don't ask for directions.
Well, I don't know. Listen, before GPS, Vincent, I probably never traveled. Well, that's not true, because I used to make trips down south to visit family. And not just down south, like it's this nebulous place. I would go to North Carolina, right? So people say down south. like it's one place. Yeah, down south is one place, right? No, I would go to North Carolina. But if I had to venture off the beaten path, I always got lost. And even though I had a map, I never learned how to read a map properly. And I would have to stop 15 people in a 15-minute time span asking them for directions to get where I got. And so I was anxiety-stricken, when the kids were younger and we would go on family vacations, Vincent, especially upstate New York. Oh my God, it was bananas. And then you make the wrong turn, and next thing you know, you're in some backwoods area with people. Oh, it was horrible.
I know you hear that deliverance banjo playing.
Yeah, man. You see that Confederate flag flying. You know you need to put it in reverse fast. But when the GPS came out, man, oh my goodness, it was a lifesaver. Well, not in the beginning, because remember when they first came out, they were riddled with errors, right? So it would tell you to go one way, and you'd be in a dead end, and then it wouldn't reroute you, and so now you're dependent upon this GPS. But now, using the phone, I love Waze. I don't know what GPS system you use, but I love Waze. It tells me where the police are. It tells me where the potholes are. It tells me where heavy traffic is. It reroutes based on that. Waze is the bomb for me.
Yeah, I love Waze as well. Funny you should mention that. I've just made first lieutenant, right? I was stationed in Virginia. Mm-hmm. Brought a 1984 Corvette with the hard top.
Right.
You take it off. Yeah. Uh-huh. I'm coming to Philly to show off. Got rank, got a new car, looking all good. So I want to speed. Everybody says, don't take 95, take Route 13. So I'm zipping down Route 13. I run into this place called Salisbury, Maryland. And I stop and I pull over for gas. Now here I am in this bright, shiny Corvette, brand new. Got my Class A uniform on. Medals everywhere. And I look at this guy. Who's pulling my gas. I said, "This isn't a bad area." I said, "Where do all the black people hang out around here?" He looked at me. He said, "I'm gonna tell you something, boy. Last black person I saw hung around here, he was hanging from that tree."
Yeah, it's very challenging, man. I remember, going down south, right, to Charlotte, North Carolina, and, back, I guess I was 25 years old, right? So this is, what's that, 32 years ago. And my wife at the time was white, and when we would go to make the trip, literally people would tell us to be careful. That was only 25 years ago. Oh no, what did I say? 32 years ago. People would tell us to be careful. And so,
wow.
Yeah. And I remember when we got down there, you had those very racist kind of lawn ornaments that some neighbors to her parents had on their lawns. It was,
with the black jockey?
Yeah, with the black jockey. It was very interesting, very interesting times. But listen, on to better things, because we're in 2020, and according to some people, we are in a post-racial America. So let's talk about that. Hey, I want to give a shout out, because this just came through, man. Did I tell you my daughter plays rugby?
No.
So I have two daughters who played rugby. I have a third daughter who was an incredible soccer player. All three of them played soccer, but then two of them, when they got older, they moved on to play rugby. And hold on, caller. They moved on to play rugby, and I think I told this story about my oldest daughter who found women's rugby. And her mom called me up and said, "Eric, Olivia is going to be playing rugby." And now Olivia was a kid who did all the odd sports that, like I never heard of. So one day she said to me, "Dad, I'm going to join the track team." So I'm figuring, okay, I know track, right? And I said, "So what are you going to run?" She goes, "Oh, I'm not going to run." I said, "Well, what are you going to do?" She said, "Pole vault." I said, "Oh, okay." All right, so that was that kid. And so then when she found rugby, I went to one of the early tryouts or scrimmages, and Vincent, they hit like men hit. And it was jarring to me because I never saw women that physical, or young ladies that physical. And she absolutely loved it and excelled at it. And then when she went off to USC, she played on the intramural team because they didn't have a women's rugby team. But she influenced her younger sister by 4 years, Lucy, and Lucy took up rugby along with playing other sports, and she just excelled. Now, Lucy is just a phenomenal player. She made the U.S. national team 3 out of 4 years. The 4th year she didn't make it because she tore her ACL and her meniscus, right? But
wow.
The thing just
when she tore it up.
Yeah, she tore it up. But she got it all repaired. She had the meniscus removed because she tore that twice. And the doctor told her that she shouldn't play rugby, but she's still playing. But anyway, this just came across my news feed. It said Philadelphia Women's Rugby Football Club is with Lucy Dawson. Our D1 captain for the upcoming year is Lucy Dawson. Yo.
That's my baby.
Yo,
yeah.
She's a bad mother. Shut your mouth. I tell you, listen.
Shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth, man. So, yeah. So
you that's my baby.
So you guys are gonna see me posting a lot of rugby stuff up there. But we got opportunity to go to Mission Viejo for the U.S. Women's National Games. We She's traveled, far and wide with rugby, man. But she's just an all-around good kid. She's on her way to med school, and she's just amazing, amazing, amazing. But rugby. Anyway, we got a caller. Caller, go. Hello. Oh, the caller hung up. Please call back, caller. Anyway, Vincent, we got some things on deck. And I emailed or text you and Diane a couple of the things, and some of the stuff that I posted to, just try to get some people, and I do this occasionally, get some people thinking. One of the things that I see on here in my feed, it says another 2.4 million Americans filed for unemployment benefits last week, and then there's a building that has signs on it that says no job, no rent.
Incredible. Yet they still have $527 billion that they're supposed to be giving to small businesses so that they can alleviate the unemployment. Does that make any sense?
Yeah,
In fact, the governor of New Jersey hired 600 people last week just to handle the overload of unemployment.
So this is interesting because there's an ad that's running from Indeed. It says 50,000 companies are adding 500,000 new jobs every week on Indeed.com.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure this out. If 50,000 companies are listing 500,000 jobs. Now, I understand the number of unemployed at filed for unemployment with 37 million, right? So, but if you do the math, you say you're chopping away at that, through Indeed and through restaurants or other kind of businesses opening back up. I wonder how people are faring.
So what you're saying is that the numbers don't make sense.
They don't make sense.
People are filing unemployment, yet there's a big demand for people to be employed, right?
Yeah.
Here is the God's honest truth. The employment market or the unemployment market is, you see America's showing you that they are really concerned. Without testing, without PPE equipment, they're not going to work.
Well, some of them. No. Some of them, Vincent. Some of them don't want to go to work because they're making more money on unemployment and with the extra $600 that was added in the stimulus package. And they said it. They said as much. They said, look, I'm making more now than I've ever made. I'm not going back to work right now.
But also I'm safer. I'm not putting my life at risk. I'm not bringing that disease on to my family.
Listeners, how many of you think that has to do with safety as much as it has to do with them realizing that they're making more money? Like if some of these people weren't making that extra $600, right?
Mm-hmm.
If their unemployment was less than, like I remember, look, dude, when I got laid off, right? My executive salary, and then what I wound up getting in unemployment, like I could just go buy some scratch offs with it comparatively, right? So I was eager to get back to work. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because the unemployment really wasn't covering my expenses.
Right.
But when you have somebody who's now going, not only is my unemployment covering my expenses, it's giving me a surplus.
There you go.
Right. So what is the motivation? So that's what I'm asking. So how much of it is them saying, you know what, I don't want to go back into an unsafe environment, versus them saying, hey, look, life is really good right now for me. It's better than it's ever been.
Well, let me add to that scenario. You're also saying, wait a minute, because most of the people who are unemployed are people who are making under $30,000 a year, correct?
Sure.
So they're making more off of unemployment. They want me to come back to what they call a essential or first.
But what I'm asking you is this: if you take away the pandemic, let's take away the pandemic for a minute. Are you suggesting that if the pandemic didn't exist, like if they were on unemployment and then they were getting the stimulus package and let's say all of the UV lights zapped out all of the coronavirus and and these places did all the social distancing and followed all the medical protocols, and that testing was in abundance. All of that was the case. Are you saying that these people would then just in droves go back to work?
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying that we lived in a society that did not have the coronavirus, and there were no need for UV lights, PPE equipment, testing, or social or distance tracking. I'm sorry, or contact tracing. So, what did we have? We had people who were very happy with their minimum wage job, factory workers, or just above minimum wage jobs, going to work and working. Now, we know that because we've got 60 million unemployed people. Now you want these people to go back to those same conditions at a virus that's killing them and their family, and they're not getting hazardous pay for it.
Oh no. Well, I think that those are separate. I think that those are separate issues, right? The hazardous pay is one issue. People going into a work environment that's unhealthy and unsafe is a second issue. But I think the other thing is this, because look, I don't want to ignore the fact that there are some people who probably could go look for a job right now at a company that is practicing all of the safe protocols. But they're not incentivized to do so. In fact, they're de-incentivized because of the additional money that they're making.
Exactly. So that proves them to be smart, prudent, plus got a couple of more coins in their pocket.
But like Deirdre said, you're drawing down on an account, right? You got to understand that, guys. You're drawing down on an account, and it's going to end. And if you're not looking for the jobs that are available now, when it does come to an end, and you are now running and scraping trying to go find a job, the level of difficulty might be greater. Hey, Diane.
Yeah, and I agree. Good morning, Diane. And I agree. But you also have to add it to the simple fact that they're drawing down on an account. And while they're drawing down on that savings account, the savings account is basically designed in the event of an emergency. So while there is a pandemic going out there, let me rely on that savings account until it dries out, and then I'll make that life and death choice. But for right now, it's a no-brainer.
No, I totally disagree. There are many people, and the people that you're talking about, the majority of the first people that were laid off that weren't essential workers were people who don't have savings accounts. So they may be making more now on unemployment, but that's not a deterrence for them to go back to work. Their deterrence is also other things, other factors that you have to consider. There is no child care. So child care is not open. Schools are not open. So what do you do with kids if you can go back to work?
Exactly.
Like, for instance, I went to go get my car washed yesterday. The woman was outside drying the car. Her kid was sitting in the car because she doesn't have child care. Child care is not open. So now the kid comes to work with her.
Mm-hmm. So if you can avoid all of that frustration and collect unemployment, then why not?
So now,
I think it's so. This is where we're at right now. What we have to deal with.
To do just why not, right? So this whole thing is playing a part in the paralysis that we see, and ultimately will have a long-term damaging effect on the economy. Let's take this call. Caller, go.
Good morning, everybody. I think everybody is right with their points as to why people may not be going back to work. And I know, like, for myself, as of yesterday, because of something I read about the CDC stating that the transfer of this coronavirus disease or COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, is less likely to transfer from surfaces, right? And touching that, you don't really contract it from surfaces. I believe personally that confusion, just the basic fact that every time you read a report, every time you listen to one of the governors or a mayor, they are talking in a circle. Nobody is giving you any answer. That video I put up like a week or two ago of the lady, and she was saying, "Well, you can do this unless you got that," and then it's like she's going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. The truth is, nobody is giving you an answer. And that's why people don't want to go back to work. Because if you can listen, if you spend one day watching the news, all you're getting is some news is
well, but Farrakhan, there are some things that that's not altogether true. Here's what they're saying, right? They're saying, firstly, it is a novel virus, meaning it's new.
Yeah.
We don't know about it. So if you listen to that first, you go, they don't know about it. And they're saying we're learning every day. So now I absorb that information, which says to me, okay, you got this information today, you may have this information tomorrow, you may have the other information the next day. The question that I ask myself firstly is this: do I trust that they're trying to give the best information that they have at the time to keep us safe? Right? That's it. The best that they have, because they've said it's new and they're learning. Right? But they're trying to give the best information. But the things that have been constant is don't touch your face, wash your hands. Don't touch your face, wash your hands. So there have been other things that have changed, right? Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. That's changed. Right? How long the droplets last, how far they travel when you cough or sneeze or talk. Right? All of those things, whether it lives on surfaces, porous surfaces versus clothing versus hard metal surfaces. All of those things have changed. Got it. But there have been some very, very specific constants. And the constants have been sanitize or wash your hands, don't touch your face. Those have been constant. And still understanding it's a novel or new virus that they're learning about. So I'm willing to cut them some slack and say, hey, look, they came out in the beginning and said, we don't know everything. And so I'm going to operate, I'm going to find the ones that I trust based on me being a researcher, right? And somebody who's intellectually curious. So I'm going to research and I'm going to do, but I'm operating from the point that they came and were honest with me and said, hey, Eric, this is new. We never saw it before. We don't know about it. We're learning about it. And so everything that they say is filtered through it.
And you're right? But now think about this, Eric. They tell you don't touch your face still, and that's a constant, right? Don't touch your face. But you really can't get it from touching surfaces like we thought. So no, but the interviews, right? That's the article too. Yeah. Right. So if the article is saying that now touching doorknobs, touching tables, touching things, it doesn't transfer that easy, and that you're not going to get it that way. And essentially, you have to breathe it in, or it has to get to your orifices. So if that's the case, then I'm going to say, well, I'm not really worried about touching my face now. But when does touching my face stop? Because I didn't touch anything and put it on my hand that's going to contract it. See, this is what I'm saying. That's the confusion.
No. But there's no.
Let me help you out. One of the things that you will find in the media, especially certain newsprint, is that they are geared to give you information to move you towards a specific person's agenda, or the person who's paying them agenda. Henceforth, when you listen to Fox, it's all. Wait, let me finish. It's all about Donald Trump. Okay, right. Or when you talk to CNN, it's all against Donald Trump. But what they will do to confuse the masses is bring on the experts to further their agenda. Now, we know it's a new virus. Now, we know that, because in the beginning, when they first didn't know anything about it, the information they got from China and Italy is that it stays on the surface for up to 3 hours. We know that it's an RNA. It's an RNA strand, which basically means that it's transferred from droplet from surface to face or surface to orifice. So when you get these experts who say against what makes common sense, that's where you have to, like Eric said, you have to be intellectually curious and say, what is this going? Where is it? Just to show you how things can get confusing. Okay, you guys are in your house. You guys have visitors coming over your house? No.
No.
Right. Do you constantly wash your hands and keep yourself clean in your house? Like, don't touch your face and all that kind of stuff in your house?
Well, I'll tell you what I do. Great question.
Now, hold on.
No, but you asked the question.
Let me answer your question.
Let me answer the question.
Okay.
Right? If I don't go out, then no. If I go out, then I know that I've left the comfort and safety of my home. Right? So we went to BJ's yesterday, went shopping. So when we came in, right, we have a sun porch, took off all our clothes, we sprayed them down with Lysol, have a second set of clothes on the inside proper door, right, that we put on, take our shoes off, spray the bottom of those. All of the packages are outside. We bring them in, wipe them down with Clorox wipes, right? So we do all of that, then we put the stuff up, put all the groceries up. And then
you don't really get it from packages.
Let me finish.
You know what I'm saying?
Please allow me to finish. And then after we do that, after all of the packages are up, after they've been wiped down, we then go wash our hands. So yes, I do. And now, also...
And I got you. But now you read the CDC saying, you're really not going to get it from touching a package.
No. But that's okay. But you know what? A stitch in time saves 9, right? Better to be safe than sorry. I can give you all of the adages.
What I said was, it's the confusion that will have people stuck not knowing what to do.
But no, you know what to do? But Farrakhan,
I respect you. Take all the precautions.
Yes.
I take all the precautions.
Yes. When in doubt, Farrakhan. But it's real simple. I can't let people...
the precaution from the very beginning.
Farrakhan, I can't let people get off on this. Look, in the end, it's your life. In the end, you need to take whatever precautions you need to take, right? If you go overboard being cautious, no harm, no foul. It's when you short, right, that you put yourself in jeopardy. So even if you believe, look, I'll tell you this. In our house, prior to the CDC and Fauci talking about wearing masks, Amina said, Baba, we should be wearing masks. And then I argued back with her, right? Because I'm looking at the data and she's watching the same news I'm watching. And I'm like, but they say that we don't need to wear masks, right? And then she said, well, but it doesn't hurt. Now, when she said it doesn't hurt, I thought about it. I said, you know what? It doesn't hurt. So if I wear a mask and I look stupid, right, but it doesn't hurt, but it can help, but there's no harm in doing it, then why not do it? So some things out of just pure caution and love for my life, right, and love for her life, because I don't want to be asymptomatic and give her something, then I'm going to be overly cautious. So for people who say, well, I don't know what to do, know what you do? Save your life. Right? And now if you need somebody to tell you every single step that you need to, at this point, if you need somebody to tell you every single step, then I don't know what to do. You know, there's some things that just should be common sense.
That's what, brother. Hey, on that. That's the killer right there. We're American, and we want someone to tell us every little step.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying.
And if I could build upon what you were saying about this article, brother, and you're absolutely right. The CDC did put this out yesterday, and what they said is that it is not as easily spread by touching as they thought, but it does spread. You can catch it by contact.
Right, but you know what though? But even the idea that we're going,
right. I'm going to err on the side of caution.
Even the idea that we're sitting here parsing words about it, I'm going, really? Really?
No, and I'm saying I'm not disagreeing because I'm doing all that you just said. But what I'm saying is it's the confusion, the throwing everything out there, right? From the very beginning.
I ain't confused.
Tracking it back.
I'm not.
What is going to keep a lot of people, right, from moving.
Con.
They won't do anything, right? And then if you can get $600 extra on your unemployment for it, then what the hell? That's what you understand what I'm saying? It becomes that.
Got it.
I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying that I know that as you get information overload, and remember we had that. Like, let's be real, right? watching 3 or 4. Like, we watched promo in the morning. We watched what you call it, Game
Murphy.
in the afternoon. Then
Right.
we watched the mayor in the evening. Right. Where like it was information over. We were watching 24/7, watching 2 and 3 news channels at a time.
Right. You know, it was like watching a train wreck, right? You know, like the people rubberneck, like a bad accident, and you just got to look over there at it. At some point, we had the information. We had the basic information. And what we were now gawking at were the number of deaths, right? The number of cases, the amount of tragedy, the oh my God. But we had the basic information, which was, hey, listen, there's something out here that even the best scientists in the world don't know about, but it's killing people. That's like just basic information, right? And so now protect yourself. And now from that standpoint, now I'm going to take information and we need to use common sense. And God help the people who don't have it. Listen, I posted this on my page today. And it's a serious question, right? And it's funny because when I posted it, folks on the conspiracy theory side, they kind of, I think they kind of winked at me and wondered whether or not I was leaning that way. No. But what I am is I'm always open, right? Like I'm never looking for my truth. I'm always looking for the truth, wherever it is. And I have enough humility to admit if ever wrong, right? So I don't get stuck on trying to be right. And so it keeps me always asking questions. And the question I ask now is, are the Dems now overplaying the pandemic? And what I asked was, I said, yeah, we need to do more testing. And yes, we need to follow science and safety protocols like wearing masks, gloves, and if you desire, face shields and even hazmat suits and maintain social distancing. But we also need to cautiously and carefully wean ourselves away from this paralysis. It seems the Dems are doing a bit of fear-mongering right now, accentuating every bad situation and playing down every positive outcome. I said, I think we need to promote the use of common sense rooted in science, not narrowly focused political agendas that are harming and killing Americans. What's wrong with that statement?
Nothing.
Right? So see, because we know that we got a red team, we got a blue team. We got a Donald Trump team and an anti-Donald Trump team. By any means necessary, get rid of Donald Trump. Got that. And then we got the other people who say, hey, he can shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and we're still going to support him. I understand that. But somewhere we've got to just, in the middle of all of this stuff, find ourselves, right? Because right now we've lost ourselves and we're wrapped up in the blue team and the red team. And the blue team is taking advantage of people by fear-mongering, right? In part, and I agree with this. I'm looking at the news and they're saying, well, you have some counties that have no deaths. They have one case reported, and they're completely shut down. Their economy is obliterated. And the question that I'm asking at this point, maybe back then, again, new virus, we don't know. We're gonna proceed overly cautiously. Got it. I never had a problem with that. But as you get more information, are you still looking? And we asked this question weeks ago in this show. Will the cure be more devastating than the disease? And I don't know that because you just got to be honest about this, right? The blue team would love nothing but to continue to bludgeon Donald Trump with the unemployment numbers, right? With the job loss numbers, with a poor economy. They would love nothing else to do but to do that. And to have people going in to the polls on election day, right, counting death tolls and all those kinds of things. That is their agenda. That's their agenda. Let us be honest about that. And we're caught up in the middle of it. And then, the orange guy, the 45, whatever you want to call him on the other side, right? He's reckless too. But we have to rise above that. and not allow them to hurt us on one side or the other, because hurting us is hurting us. We have to think for ourselves. We have to become independent thinkers. And I asked you this question before we went on air, or I made the statement to you, Vincent. I said, you're looking at reports now that Cuomo made some bad decisions in New York with regard to how he sent COVID-19 patients into senior buildings. There's a report now in New Jersey, it's in NJ.com, that Phil Murphy made some bad decisions, which led to an increased death toll. So, what I've been saying is this. Got it. Donald Trump lied. He's still lying. Had a debate yesterday about whether or not he really meant drinking Clorox and Lysol, or whether we can parse the word disinfectant to really mean something else, right? I don't even want to do that anymore. Where I am now is this. Let's lay that on him. But then we have governors and mayors. Are we literally going to absolve them of everything? Of everything? At the expense of,
if you follow the media, yes. Right? Again, you're looking at big corporations telling people how to think. And they will do that, right? You have the governors saying, well, I can blame it on the other guy. And that's what they're going to do. So right now, any negative statistic will end or begin with the administration referring to federal government or Trump, right? It will, every negative statement coming from a Democratic governor or mayor is going to end or begin with the administration did this, so it caused that. Or Trump did this, so it caused that. That's going to happen. So to that, you got to say yeah, right? And people are going to follow that because we want to be given the knowledge. We don't want to learn the knowledge.
And so by doing this, so let us be clear though. If we go down that path, so let's be clear again. They're saying, they want to say, and I'm talking about the Dems, the elite within the Democratic Party, right? Because their job is to just try to hold on to their jobs, right? And so they're prepared to say that the 93,000 deaths are all Donald Trump's fault, right? All of them. And all of the unemployment, all the people who filed for unemployment, all of the people who were job insecure, it's all Donald Trump's fault. So when we argue in municipalities and in states about workers' rights and other kinds of things, and our legislators drag their feet and our governors make bad decisions, and so people wind up being underemployed and wind up working in places where they don't have insurance and other kinds of insecurities. All of that, none of that matters now. None of that matters now. That undergirding doesn't matter now. The only thing that matters is that we want to get rid of Donald Trump. But I'm saying if you keep those same people in charge, you get rid of Donald Trump, you still have the same system that primed you, had you primed for this. And none of those people are jettisoning any of the folks around them, any of the people in these high-level departments holding these titles, having these corner offices. They're not jettisoning any of them, saying, hey, wait a minute, we screwed up too. They're saying we're gonna keep business as usual down in Trenton. We're gonna keep business as usual in our municipalities. All we want to do is get rid of Donald Trump.
No. Well, Eric, you're absolutely right. There is some gamesmanship going on. The president is blaming the Democratic governors. The Democratic governors are blaming the president. And so that's been going on for some months. We're still trying to wean out between which expert is giving us the leading information that we can actually use to save our lives. And yes, the media has been following this narrative either to get rid of Trump or to not blame Trump and give him 4 more years, depending on which channel you go to. But we also have to look at, the whole thing is that what we fight with daily is dealing with the masses who are uneducated, undereducated, or just plain out want to be led by whoever they believe that gives them information. I mean, every day I deal with a group of middle-class white men that get information, fake news sent to them, saying that Dr. Fauci is responsible and has a patent on the virus now. And then so it's a whole bunch of turmoil. And it's all designed to get people to make that pregnant pause, like a deer in a headlight, and not know truly what to do. And in this case, when people are now frozen because they can't make a decision, somebody dies. Do we need to get rid of these people? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. From the top down, we need to clean the entire system. We don't need to get back to norm. We need to establish a new norm. The only thing that the coronavirus has done, and I've been saying that since the day it actually hit, is actually pierce the veil or exploit all those things that we've been hiding and been turning a blind eye to, or speaking quietly, or just speaking about it on this show alone. That's all it's done. It is time for people to now take a stand. And I'm not sitting up here people who just want to talk on social media because they can. I mean, put that to action. There's an election coming up. Put it to action. Let's get rid of the entire lot. Listen to some people who are looking to further us as a group of people of color, or as a group of people from North Jersey, or as a group of people who want better education, or as a group of people who want better income for the hard work that we do, or as a group of people who says that, you know what, we need more programs in place so that our small businesses can get off the ground, rather than you giving billions of dollars to big businesses and they're collecting it from their yachts. It's time for a change. And it's time for people to stop talking about it and put it into action. Mail out ballots for the state of New Jersey went out. I like to hear some people talk about, how do I fill this out? Where do I send this? And where do I vote? Or I haven't got my mail out ballot. Who do I contact to make that happen? Because I need to make a change. We got to stop sitting up here waiting on Superman to come and rescue us and be the superheroes that we need. And the first thing that we can do to rescue ourselves out of this condition is get those people who have put us in and set this system in place, and using that system to keep us oppressed, get them out.
Now, Vincent, I just got one question. And see, like, as a person, I'm going to say, how is it that we still have to have mail-in voting? Right? We can't go to, but we can all go to the beach this weekend. See, this is the irresponsibility of our government. Like, you're going to tell us that, no, beaches are safe. Tens of thousands of people can hit the beach this weekend, and they can all walk around in that. But for some reason, you can't go to the voting.
Right, and not only that, but to your point, Farrakhan, not only did they open the beaches and open the state parks and all those other kinds of things, but the liquor stores have been open. Have they been tracking? See, so this is what I'm talking about, right? Have they been tracking the coronavirus outbreaks from people who've been standing in lines, long lines sometimes, right, for the liquor stores to go get their booze? Because if you were to substitute the liquor store line for the voting line, right, what's the difference? What's the difference? So, so I got issues. I got big issues with it all, and we need to look and examine all of it and understand that they're both running game on us. Those people who have put us in this position, primed to be in the position that we're in right now, all of the failings.
Hey, Eric, you just made me think about something. All these people won't go back to work, but yet they'll all go stand in those long liquor lines.
Of course.
And that's America for you. You'll go to stand in the liquor line to get your wine, your beer, your liquor, whatever. But nah, I'll slide on going back to work. That don't make sense. For some reason, you found some child care or somewhere to put your kid while you was in that liquor store. But you didn't find somewhere to put your kid when it's time to go back to work. See, that's American. We got a problem with our own personal, individual mindset of people. And we don't talk about that enough, right? But it's us. It's us as people. What we accept, what we don't accept, what we do and what we don't do. It's us. Because you just made me think about it, how you just said it. I was like, wait a minute. People will get up and go and stand in a line for half an hour. Now, just not a liquor store. People sitting in their drive-through line at damn Chick-fil-A for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I saw a 100-car Chick-fil-A line in Morris Plains last week. 100 cars, and I'm not exaggerating. 100 cars were in the Chick-fil-A line. Like, are you
look at the people who camped out overnight to get the new Jordans.
Yes, I heard about that. You know what I'm saying? So we have a problem as people. What we prioritize and how we focus our lives, and we're almost robotic at this point.
Farrakhan, this is what the governor and all the other municipalities deal with in answering your question. There is going to be somebody somewhere that says that when you legislate against what I want, you're violating my constitutional right.
So
that's the big thing.
We already know we got plenty of those people, right? Who who always soon as you tell us to do something or don't do something, well, that goes against the Constitution, right?
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's just like the news. People use that line for their argument, right?
Correct.
Some will use it to the left and some will use it to the right. So we just know that in this country because we have a Constitution. So we say that goes against our rights. So with that, I give that like a grain of salt, right? When I hear that argument, because on one hand, you want the Constitution to preclude you from certain things, and then on the other hand, you want us to let the Constitution do certain things. So I take that with a grain of salt. Like, when people start saying the Constitution,
Look at the media. People exercising their constitutional rights, and they didn't care about that cop who sat up there, those 2 police officers who sat up there with that thing that was 6 feet apart and telling them that this is how far they had to be.
Right.
None of them gave them any freaking attention or gave them any bit of respect to their authority.
So listen, there's another headline. So yeah, we need to do something, right? We need to act. We need to get involved. We need to be critical thinkers. We do all those things. Mark Duncan in the feed says we need a strategic plan nationwide to focus on the legislative branch. That is where the power truly lies. Fed, state, local. They write and pass bills that are signed into law by the executive branch. We must focus where change can truly be, I gotta see more, where it can truly be affected by electing people who actually focus on making our lives better, right? So
I agree.
Okay, so to me, that's not stop Trump, right? So, and that's why I keep saying, like, I got this piece over here, but it's drowning out what Mark just said. And they're drowning it out on purpose because those people who are in those positions who have failed you need cover now. And their biggest cover is the guy at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And then we have people who say that they're our friends who are floating this nonsense on social media saying, yeah, it should be all about Trump. No, it should be what Mark just said. That's what if our objective, if we recognize, and whether we're talking about the coronavirus, Farrakhan, right, where I say use common sense, or we're talking about our current condition, use common sense. So we understand that that the 99% are vulnerable because the 1% have left us that way. They've intentionally done this, right? And they've done it with cohorts who disguise themselves as our representatives and sit in the Congress and in the Senate. Right, and sit in the governor's mansion and in the mayor's offices and sit on council seats, and I can go down the list. Right, so those are all of their cohorts. But that's the situation that we're in. We have to use common sense and say, look, who did this? Really? You're going to blame a guy who's been there for 3 years for all of this damage?
No.
You've allowed people to convince you. And somebody asked me, they said, well, Eric, we need to get rid. I said, tell me. In fact, and I think we did this months ago, right? It's a year ago. Tell me specifically, not emotion, but specifically how your life, the 99%, how your life is worse off. Personally, How it's worse off? So I'm telling you, in bad shape before. So if you're saying you're worse off now, tell me how. Because you've allowed people to convince you that you are, to emotionalize your situation. And so you're not looking rationally at it and blaming. So they've filled you with noise on both sides.
Okay, but Eric, can I ask you this question?
Sure you can.
Would you not give a great percentage of the culpability to this present virus situation in America because Donald Trump had the information?
Oh, absolutely.
What,
you're missing the point. So here you're missing the point. So here's what I'm going to say to you. So Donald Trump lied, right? But if I'm a governor, right, I could make decisions that could worsen it, or make decisions that give the people in my state a better chance. And the question I'm asking is, okay, so he did what he did, but after he did what he did, and I'm not even going to argue what he did anymore. I'm simply saying that as the shit was rolling downhill, what did the governors do? What did the mayors do to divert the shit from landing on me? That's what I'm asking, because that's what they're there for. So what did they do? So got it. He opened the floodgates and the shit started rolling down the hill. Got it. I'm asking, in the 50 states, or in my state in particular, I want to know exactly what my governor did to keep as much of the shit from landing on me as he could. Because if he didn't do anything and all the shit landed on me, but he could have done something so I got little less shit on me, then I got to blame him. Yeah, Donald Trump opened the shit gate.
Just a little that we know. What did our governor do?
Go ahead and blame him.
Yeah.
Go ahead and blame him.
Yes.
He deserves some blame.
He does.
And that's my point. And so, fine, get rid of Donald Trump. But then I want to get rid of my governor too. Get rid of Donald Trump. And if Cuomo did something, get rid of him too. And then you know what? If my mayor didn't do anything or open his mouth or speak out against it, get rid of him too.
Hey, go with your senator.
Right. All of them. All of them. But I'm saying I refuse, and I'm asking you, I'm pleading with you guys, down ballot, down ballot, down ballot.
Okay, so you just say just your whole ballot gotta go.
All of them. All of them. All of them. All of them. I can't just have this. I can't have this narrow conversation, right? I can't. It's not going to get you anywhere to have the narrow conversation about the guy in the Oval Office.
So everybody in office right now, Dem or Republican,
I want to know. Well, look,
the ballot got to go.
Look, yeah. I look at who possibly impacted, whose decisions impacted me, right?
Okay.
So I'm saying I live in New Jersey, so I want to know what the governor did, right? I know what the president did. Please don't tell me anymore. Got it.
Okay.
Lied.
What did the governor do right, or what the governor did wrong in New Jersey?
I just want to know what he did.
Okay, well, what he did was he coordinated with all the other governors in the Tri-County or the Tri-State area to make sure that everybody is on at least close to the same sheet of music in terms of opening their borders. The other thing that he did was say that, okay, people are complaining that if we shut alcohol down, we're going to have a big problem with people in withdrawal. And it does bring income in terms of taxes. So we'll let the liquor store stay open as an essential business and the other businesses. The other thing that he did was implement a statewide mandate saying that if you're going into public places, i.e. stores, businesses, etc., you need to wear a mask. The other thing that he did was actually talk to the experts in terms of a timeline to shut down the schools, to disinfect them, and to make sure that these kids get food to carry on. And then the next thing that he did was kiss Donald Trump's behind to get that $300 and something billion so that he can give a lot of it to the schools so that they can get computers, a lot of them so that they can continue our first responders getting pay, a lot of them so that they can continue a lot of our ancillary systems, and he shut down his entire government except for the initial or skeleton crew that's running everything right now. So he may have done some wrong things.
No. So wait a minute. So you just named. So you just wait. No.
But he has done some things right.
No. So wait a minute. Stop for a second, because I want to understand what you just did. So you took the time, carefully and patiently, to list more than a dozen things that he did right, and then you minimize, and you go, and he may have done some wrong things. Right, so I want you to spend the same, so this is where I am. Take the same time and identify the other things. Don't minimize it and say, oh, well, he may have done. That's all I'm asking, right? So what you did is classic, which is I'm going to promote the good things and I'm going to minimize everything else. And what I'm saying is I believe that that's what happens in the media, and it's all disingenuous because what the other things are cost lives. But if you have an agenda that's outside of just the people, being people focused, then of course you're going to minimize those things. I'm saying put it all on the table. But what you did was exactly what I'm talking about, Vincent. You literally went through a litany of things, and I'm not denying any of those things. I haven't researched them, but I don't even want to deny them. But what you did not do is speak copiously about one thing that he did wrong. And so what you leave people to believe is, wait a minute. So now at the end of what you...
One thing that he did wrong.
What?
Explain to me one thing that he did
No,
wrong.
I want you to. You went through the list.
I don't have it.
There you go. But you did the research on the other stuff. And that's what I'm saying. And there lies the challenge, right? So you do the research on this stuff because it fits a narrative. But the other stuff is not important. The things that he may have done wrong. And there's some stuff. I'm going to post the article that talks about some of this stuff. I'll let you all read. I'm not going to go through it here. But that's my point.
He responded too late. Half the things that you said that he did, Vincent, he did too late. Right? He waited an extra day, a week, which caused extra lives. So that's one thing he did wrong. Right?
I will agree with that.
Vincent, let him talk. Vincent, let him go talk.
Okay, half of the things that you said, okay, were actually part of Donald Trump's COVID-19 initiative.
Bullcrap.
Let him talk, Vincent. Let him talk, Vincent.
That stupid thing that Mike Pence used to put up every day at those all of those things, half of those things you said were on Donald Trump's initiative, COVID-19 initiative. They were on that list, right? Half of those protections that the president said this is what we should be doing, and he said that states can work with it how they chose, and that's what they did. So when you're giving credit to somebody, and I'm never trying to play like the devil's advocate, right, and give a complete picture, right, but half of what you said, it's on that list. I'm not making it up.
Hold on one second. Farrakhan, wait.
COVID-19 list.
Farrakhan, 1 second. Vincent, stop hanging up your phone. I keep answering your phone, Vincent. Something you're doing on your end that continues to disconnect it. Vincent? All right, I don't know where Vincent is. So I think I have Farrakhan. I got Diane on the line. So I agree with you, Farrakhan. And the only thing that I'm asking is that when we give the information, Vincent says I'm hanging up on him. Hold on. Vincent?
Yes.
I'm not hanging up on. I'm not. Hold on. Vincent, are you there?
No, Farrakhan's here.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening to Vincent. He's saying I'm hanging up when I'm trying to bring him onto the three-way call. Let me see if I can bring him back on. Hold on, guys. Sorry for the technical difficulty. Give me a second. Hey, I'm trying to merge you in on the call. Hold on, let's see if it works. Vincent? Oh, yeah, I'm not sure why it doesn't connect now. That's interesting. So, but I agree with you, Farrakhan, and I'm gonna try to get Vincent back on. But I agree that we need to figure it all out. And there is an article, and I'm gonna post it later, that explains, at least from another side, some of the things that weren't done properly. So and I just want to go and investigate on that. So let me see if I can. Diane Farrakhan, I'm gonna hang up on you guys. I'm gonna try to bring Vincent back, and then I'm gonna try to bring you all back.
Okay.
Vincent Squire.
That's me.
All right. So I'm gonna try to have everybody else. You're back. You're still online, Vincent?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not sure why your line kept getting cut off. Sorry about that. But go ahead. You want to respond to what Farrakhan was saying?
Okay, no, what Farrakhan is responding to, what Farrakhan is saying, that's not Donald Trump's narrative. Donald Trump's narrative was that this will just go away. In fact, Mike Pence even got up there and said that this will all be over Memorial Day. Donald Trump said we need to open up the economy Easter. All of the work that's been doing, the shutting down and everything, has been done by the governors. That's why Donald Trump keeps trying and pushing to get the governors to open up their states. It's none of his control, and none of this is done by him. In fact, here's another point. They petitioned and fought hard to get Donald Trump to release the reservists to handle things like overload in the hospitals, do testing in the nursing homes, et cetera, et cetera. Well, their time period has ran up. So every politician has been lobbying and pushing for Donald Trump to extend them, and he finally did. He extended them to June 24th. Guess why June 24th? June 24th is them actually performing 89 days in active duty service. Once they do 90 days in active duty service.
Yeah, I did hear about that. I think that was absolutely horrible, right?
Exactly. He screwed them out of benefits, full-time pay, college tuition, all of that, which they were entitled to, just by cutting them off by 1 day.
My understanding is that they're revisiting that now.
Yeah, they're trying to.
All right.
But once again, we're talking about governors doing what's best for their people, and or at least our governors in New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania, and Connecticut, trying to do what's best for the people, and fighting against a president who is not supplying them with ventilators. Yet he just sent 200 of them to Russia. Who's not supplying them with the test needs and the kits? Who's not coordinating and buying these masks and PPE equipment and supplying them to the states? But he's buying them and saying that this is the federal government and we will do with it what we please. So don't tell me that this is Donald Trump making it better. No, these are our governors working in our behalf. Yeah. So that's my soapbox. Now, I'm not saying that the man is an angel, but I am saying that he's doing a lot of things right.
Okay. Listen, did you hear? There were a couple other posts that I sent to you and to Diane. I'm trying to pull them up.
Oh yeah, you sent some good ones.
So one of them, and this was last year, but it is
Lori Loughlin.
Oh yeah. What are your thoughts about Lori Loughlin's husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys remember, right, this was the scandal of these high-profile celebrities who were essentially paying to get their kids into these colleges. They were paying proctors and professors and whoever else they could to ensure that their SAT scores were,
paying people to take the test for them.
And they took the test for them and all that kind of stuff. So what do you think that this signals that, there's going to be a guilty plea entered?
Does it really? Well, let's look at our criminal justice system. Our criminal justice system is the most unequal justice system ever. We're looking at people who do far less than what these guys have done and are still in prison. Yet these people are taking a plea deal to a slap on the wrist. We're looking at a man who's known to collude with the Russians. Get out of prison free. The other one who admitted that he lied to the FBI, they're no longer going to prosecute. We're looking at people of privilege, power, and prestige getting away with committing crimes where other people are doing life terms for doing far less. And that makes our justice system unequal justice. And if I can quote, if I can quote the South African president Nelson Mandela, a justice system, even a justice system that is unequal, is still no justice.
Yeah, I think that it's I'm excited. I want to see people go to jail for it. I guess mainly, man. As a dad who worked really hard to ensure that my kids got into school, and I know family members, friends of mine, are paying exorbitant college fees, and they had to do all of the right things, follow the right path, and sometimes because being black had to be better than or twice as good as, to see that people were just writing checks and getting people to do that for them, just to further widen the gap that already exists, right, and take advantage of their white privilege. I just found it to be appalling. So I'm happy to see them drag through the court system, drag through media, and my hope is that the court of public opinion shows them no mercy at all.
Well, let's see. Being a person on that other end of the spectrum, formerly incarcerated, and been dragged through the mud, dragged through the media or social media for a crime that I didn't do, and serving time. I really do not wish that experience on anybody in my life. However, what I would like to see is that if people have committed something wrong, that they do pay their fair debt to society.
Right.
There's no way in the world. I mean, we're talking about. In fact, I had an alumni meeting last night, and what's so incredible about it is that when they sentence, and here's the disproportionation of people incarcerated, is that 13 to 15% of the population actually controls 70+% of the people being incarcerated, which means that it's been designed and it's been set up and holding steady a lot of people of color, black, Hispanic, whatever you want to call yourself. Yet, when they lock these people up, an average of 5 to 7 years, they have nothing to come home to, setting them up for failure, setting them up to get back into a life of crime, because there are over 2,000 restrictions from the time you get out of prison. The restrictions are doing everything from getting subsidies, food stamps, housing, schooling, everything blocks you when you have that criminal record. And you are supposed to make a success in society and put your mark in. That's why it's incredible that people are not even shocked anymore that the recidivism rate is 1 in 27 people will go back to prison within 30 days. And nobody's shocked about that. 50% of people released today inside of 6 months will be back in prison. 75% will be back within a year. But nobody is complaining or fussing about that. A man being taken away from his children, and women having to raise children by themselves without that help. Nobody's complaining about the amount of things that happen to children, rape, abuse by other people because their father isn't there to protect them. Nobody is talking about the simple fact that most of the parents who are in the system end up with children in the system. Nobody's complaining about that and saying that, you know what, we need to stop this by giving them, by at least not breaking their legs when they come out of prison, making it harder for them to get a job. No one talks about that. No. They just say that, okay, he's in prison for a particular reason. But nobody talks about how Bill Clinton gave billions of dollars to states and started that biggest migration of African Americans into bondage slavery called his 3 strikes you're out, his mass incarceration bill. Nobody talks about the injustice of being black. The black man who can get pulled over for a ticket can turn into a third degree felony and do 5 years for it.
Yeah. There's an article that I'm going to post too in this thread that I think is a good read. It's in Business Insider, and the headline is "Coronavirus didn't bring the economy down. 40 years of greed and corporate malfeasance did."
I agree with that. What about you, Eric?
But that's what I'm saying, right? So as I'm looking at this, I'm saying, this, we reached a tipping point, right? But, make no mistake about what brought it all down. But I'm gonna post this article after the show in the feed. Listen, I don't know if we talked about this yesterday. There was a post. Maybe I did talk about it. But there was a post about, and I used to eat at that Chinese restaurant, and then there was some stuff. But there's a Chinese restaurant that's in Newark, and I'm not gonna mention the name of it. If you saw the post in the picture, then you know what I'm talking about. But there was a woman who was on the outside of it, and they had reconfigured the entrance to not allow customers into the store. And somebody posted that and thought it to be disrespectful that patrons were not allowed in the store to actually come in and purchase, but they were, had to order curbside through a window to get their delivery. And so people started going on and bashing the Chinese restaurant for doing that. And I went in and I posted in the feed that, I had several experiences going into stores and experiences with restaurants who have now reconfigured their business for you to, it's kind of like a walk up, right? It's a walk up instead of you going in and ordering. Much like you have drive-throughs, instead of having a car because you're on the sidewalk, you're walking up to the counter, placing your order, and then you're fulfilling the order. And this is what I say pretty much in the feed. One store that I went to that had a sign on the outside, it said 5 customers at a time. So I was standing in the store, and I believe it was 4 of us in the store. Right, I counted as the 4th person in the store. And then 3 additional people came in, and you do the math, that's 7 now. And so one of the 4, me being one of the 4, but one of the other people actually turned around and said to the 3 that came in, and they were all together, said, "Yo, man, the sign says 5 people. You gotta, 2 of you have to go." And so one of the 3 that had just entered in kind of got boisterous and, kind of got confrontational. They weren't leaving. F you. If you want to go, you can go. I ain't going to stand outside. And so now the owner of the store is in the middle of this, trying to figure out how to police it. He is trying to fulfill Grubhub orders, Uber Eats orders, DoorDash orders, and he's trying to take care of the 4 patrons that are there. And now he's got this commotion taking place. So he has to now leave from behind the counter, come around to try to police this stuff. Couldn't do it. It got ready to go, get physical, and he had to call the police. And so what I said in the thread was, look, it shouldn't be that owner's responsibility to manage social distancing. What we have all come to realize through posts on media is that some people don't want to follow rules. And so in order to deal with that in a neighborhood where he believes apparently people are not going to follow rules, he said the best way to do this is for me to simply put this door up here. And now nobody comes in. right? It's kind of like, remember as a kid, Vincent, your parents, right? They say, well, if you can't act right, nobody gets a treat. Right? Nobody. That's what he did. So now we're upset because we feel like he's treating us like kids, but we can't manage it ourselves. So he has to step in and says, well, you can't do it. Nobody gets to come in the store.
Okay, now Eric.
Yep.
At the start of the COVID-19, we had Dr. Wright. And what did he say that we are as far as people?
He said that we're not communal, that we're individualistic, right? So it's what's good for me, to hell with you.
Correct.
Right? But so now the store owner has to take it upon himself to say, you know what? Then I have to advocate for everybody, right?
Right.
I can't
so
just think
now
about
I
you.
got to legislate against stupid.
Right.
Or selfish.
Right. And so somebody just sent me a sidewalk pickup beauty supply store in Orange. Now, I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? I think that, now, here's what I think they probably need to work on. They need to work on how it's going to function if it's raining, right? Now, I guess you could say people should bring umbrellas, but it would be cool if they had like a little overhang, right, to accommodate people who are, because if you as a business have to recognize that people are choosing to come to your store when they can come to another store. So to some extent, you have to provide a level of convenience for them, right? You can't simply say, suck it up, because then I'll go someplace else. So providing outdoor umbrellas so people can be under the umbrella. When the weather starts to get a little warmer, you got 80-degree, 90-degree temperatures and the heat beating down on people. You got to understand, if somebody's standing in a line too long, they're going to go someplace else. So you have to look in and create balances that gives your business the best opportunity to succeed in this new environment, right? But being outdoors, having curbside or sidewalk pickup, not a bad idea. You know, another good idea maybe is you know how Chick-fil-A does it, right? You have somebody on the outside taking the orders, right? So while you're waiting in line, you're not getting up to the window giving your order. You have concierge service where people are coming to the car and asking what you want, and they're relaying that on the inside. Maybe some of these stores need to do that as these lines start to get longer, right? So you have somebody who's on the outside, ask what you want. They can relay that on the inside, so the order is being prepared, so you can speed it up. Because I think if you got 30 people or 20 people on the outside and your order is being placed once you get to the window, I think that creates a log jam. So there's some things that they could do to improve it. But the first step, I think, is honestly an earnest step to, one, keep their damn business open. Right? Because what this owner said to me, Vincent, was, hey, look, if I don't deal with this, and if the inspector comes by and I got 7 people in here, then I get fined and I get shut down. That's fact. So he says the protocol by the health department is 5 people, so I got to maintain 5 people. But I can't police stupid, so I'm going to kick everybody out. Got it.
There you go.
Right.
Well, let's look at what happened when somebody had to police stupid, and the security guard expressed to this woman that she could not come into the dollar store unless she had a mask. What happened, Eric?
Oh, is this the person that got shot?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so instead of dealing with those confrontations, right? And also, look, I value the person that does that because I'm the guy who's going to follow the rules. So in the store that I was in, where these 3 people came in, they're putting my life at risk.
That's right.
Right? And so now either I now have to speak up, defend myself. So now I get into a confrontation because what do we know? They can count. They saw the sign on the door. So when they walked in, they said, screw all of you.
That's right.
Right, so that is the posture that they
came
in with.
Than your lives.
Right, they came in confrontational, right, saying screw you. And so now we have to speak up for ourselves, and we already know that we're going to get into a confrontation. And so if that business owner says, look, you know what, like I said, I don't want to deal with it. I'm not going to deal with it. Will, I'd love to be able to post a photo. I can't because it just, the technology, requires me to, now spend some time doing that. But if you send them to me earlier, I can get them ready and have them in the queue to be able to post. But these people, they seem to be okay with waiting in line, right, for this supply store. It looks like it's on is it on Main Street, Will? I don't know where it is.
Eric, are you surprised about the all about me generation?
No, I'm not.
Look how
I'm not. I'm not at all.
look at our president. It's all about me.
Well,
I mean,
no. I'm not gonna let you do that. It's all about me with the governors. It's all about me with the mayor. I'm not gonna let you do that.
Okay.
So, wait,
Well,
Vincent, can we agree we have an all about me government?
yes.
All right,
I can agree with that.
There you
I'd
go.
sign off on that 100%.
There you go. We got an all about me
Now,
government.
leadership is top down. If we've got an all about me government, okay, then what do we have in terms of people who support their government? It's all about me. It's all about me. I don't want to wear a mask. It's all about me. Forget the simple fact that wearing a mask keeps everybody safe, and I don't have to breathe in your disease or take it to my family. It's all about me. It's all about me that I don't want to keep 6 feet from people. I want to gather with everybody at the beach, even though the beach should be closed. But, we got a governor who's too much of a pansy to actually shut it down because he don't want these people on the Capitol building complaining. So open the beach and give them 6 feet of distance. But no, because it's all about me, I'm not observing 6 feet. It's all about me that says that, I got to sit up here and buy 38 rolls of toilet tissue. Because we're in a pandemic, and I might have to wipe my behind all of those times. It's all about me that says that, I got to go to the supermarket and buy every last oxtail in the supermarket.
So
because we're in a pandemic. It's all about me, Eric.
Well, we had that conversation with Dr. Wright was on, right? And, and we're not going to be able to change that. We have to continue to, fight against it. Listen. 2 other things that I want to try to talk about. One, let's take this phone call and then I'll get to it. Caller, go.
Hey, Eric. Good morning, my friend. How are you, man?
My man, Will Hathaway from Orange, New Jersey, man. How you doing, Will?
I'm doing well, man. I was sick last week, man. I had lost my vocal cords, man.
You lost them?
Yes.
But now they're found.
Yeah, they're found, man. What's going on up in Orange, my friend? In reference to the curbside pickup, okay? There are 2 businesses that are protesting. I'm going to send you the photos maybe tonight, and maybe you can put them
So
on.
you're saying
to the
people
queue.
are protesting the businesses?
Yeah, I mean, there's the Rainbow Shop has a sign. I'm gonna send it to you so you can use it on the show for tomorrow. Our constitutional rights are being violated.
Why? Why do they believe their constitutional rights are being violated?
Because apparently in Orange, some of the stores, shoe stores, are allowed to open for curbside pickup. The salon that the beauty salons on Main Street are allowed to do that. There are some walk-ins like the pharmacy, E&M Pharmacy. You can walk in and purchase, but there's a limit of people that are allowed in the store, due to protocol by the state. So that's what's happening in Orange. And also we're still doing the coronavirus testing. We
How's the
started
testing going?
last week in our senior buildings for all Orange residents, and that is going on a good basis right now.
Okay. So, you know what, Will, since I have you on the phone, and I want to ask both of you guys this. I heard this on the news yesterday. We're going to stay on testing for a minute. They said we could do a better job with testing if we activated the labs in all of our universities and colleges, that they have all of the equipment. They have the bright people there that literally we could ramp up testing like that in our states if we activate. So take Newark for example, right? Look at the colleges you have. Look, you got Rutgers in Newark, right? You've got NJIT in Newark. You've got, right? Let's go. You got Fairleigh Dickinson. You've got. Don't we have the ability to be able to, if we were to use these universities, these colleges, to really ramp? Because that's going back to what.
No, Eric. To be honest with you, there was actually a bill that was shot down last week by a young congresswoman who basically said that, in her bill and proposal, that we activate every university and school and their laboratories to handle the test, but also include those people who were laid off from the United States Forestry. Mm-hmm. And all of those government agencies, include them to handle the contact tracing, and we would have all the information. It was shot down by the president.
I mean, there should be universal testing throughout our colleges and our campuses throughout the country, to protect our students, who are trying to.
Well, I'm not just talking about protecting the students.
Not the students, but everybody in the state.
I'm saying everybody in the state.
Exactly.
I'm saying when they're talking about we don't have the resources, right? We've got these laboratories within these colleges and universities.
You're right. I do agree with you. I think there should be some type of testing in our universities. Like Vincent said, this is a time of you got to be careful. Like you said, you was in a store, someplace, and there were people, rambunctious. I mean, there's got to be some type of protocol which stores in Orange are putting in place the maximum capacity of people being in the stores. And I also wanted to share something with you guys. I don't know if you've seen the Star Ledger today. Plans to reopen schools are uncharted. Hundreds of questions remain. Report says New Jersey school districts don't know if they will have sports when they reopen.
Yeah. There's a lot of unknowns. Caller, go. We got another caller. Caller, go.
All right. Thank you.
Hi, this is Anissa. How you doing? Can you guys hear me?
I got you.
Yes.
Okay, I know I asked that question a lot. I'm just because I have my mask on.
No worries.
My fault. I just have a question. Maybe I missed if he answered the caller before. I think his name is Will.
Uh-huh.
And he was just like, our constitutional rights are being, violated because.
No, what I did say, Anise, what I said, I saw a sign on Rainbow Shop in Orange, and that's what the sign said. Our constitutional rights are being violated.
Oh, okay. Because I was wondering. I was like, well, how is it being violated? Because they're doing curbside. They're doing curbside where I live out here, and I live in Old Bridge. Mm-hmm. And they're making them people like they're doing it out here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and to get on the picture that you were talking about, Eric, my cousin posted that picture as well of the store. And,
okay.
and he was just like, I don't understand what the problem is. And I'm like, I don't understand what the problem is either.
Well, one of the people who
posted... have people in the store. So if you still want to shop and patronize us, we'll bring it to you. So what's the problem?
So here's what...
I'm going to sit back and listen to you guys.
Thank you. Here's what one person said in the thread, right? Is that they were concerned that people in that bad neighborhood, if you were a patron, you had to pull cash out of your pocket on the sidewalk in this bad neighborhood, and now leaving yourself vulnerable to a crime being perpetrated on you, right? Being robbed because you're outside. You can't go inside the store and pull your money out. Now, I look and say, I understand that that's a bad neighborhood, but that store owner ought not be held responsible for the criminal behavior of the people in that neighborhood. I don't know if I lost you, Vincent. I think I may have lost everybody. So I'm gonna try to maybe I get everybody back. But the store owner cannot be held responsible. So I want you to understand, like the where we are here. So if you look and see that that's a bad neighborhood, that crime and all those other kinds of things there, we need to figure out how to fix that crime. not do workarounds around the crime. So we recognize the crime is there, and we're not going to really work to address the crime. What we're going to say is we have to have workarounds to deal with the crime.
Tell you, man.
Vincent,
Eric,
I don't know what's wrong with my phone today. Hold on 1 second now. Let's caller. Vincent? Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening with my line today, guys. Caller? Hello? Yeah, Vincent, I just can't take the other call because I don't know what's going on. Are you there?
I'm here. Let's try it again.
No. Yeah, I'm sorry, caller. Whoever you are, I'm not gonna be able to take the call. Please put your comment in the feed because it whatever's happening, it's interrupting something. But Vincent, so what they said in that post was, hey, look, dealing with the crime is something that the owner of the store needs to do, right? So he needs to mitigate the possibility of this person being mugged by opening up his store and allowing those same criminal-minded people to come in the store and to create the havoc, right? So that's the culture. And so you want him to deal with it this way. So maybe the only thing that the people can do is just carry the amount of money that whatever you're ordering is going to require, right? Don't carry your purse. Do all the other kinds of things that you need to do to protect yourself, right? Don't hang it over your shoulder. Try not to flash the money out there. You shouldn't be counting in. Look, come on, we gotta get to a point where we're not dealing with the lowest common denominator with stuff, right? Do you understand what I'm saying, Vincent? Like, I already know if I'm in a particular area and I got to go to an ATM, right? I'm going to look around. I'm going to check to make sure they don't have that fake little card reader attached to it if it's outside, right? So there's certain things that I already know to do. Right? So I'm not saying to Bank of America, don't put the ATM over there. Right? I'm saying if I'm going to use the ATM, I have to use certain precautions. Because when you tell that guy, don't put the sign there, that's like you going up and down and policing all of the different banks that have their ATMs in bad areas. Right? You're going to tell them remove it because somebody's going to get robbed if they withdraw money? Come on, stop. So, but Denise, that was some of the comments in some of the threads that I saw. It wasn't so much about the safety of the patrons in terms of COVID-19. It was safety of the patrons in terms of the criminal element that sees them as prey on the street.
True. And it's a shame that, in the midst of a pandemic that, people would try to, one, get themselves put back into or get into prison, into a place where there is very little ventilation and very close contact with more than likely somebody who's got the disease because you want to take someone of their hard-earned income. That's relatively stupid. And, the other thing is that, again, we always have to take these precautions against certain entities. And it's a shame that we live in this world that, you have to make 18 steps just to buy one product, just to keep with a little money that you have in your pocket.
Sure.
Not to mention we're in a situation in a level of income where everybody's pretty much underpaid or have very little at all, so you're going to take what little they have so that you can gain that little? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
God, I truly don't get people sometimes. And I mean, I'm Eric. I'm actually worn out dealing with all of this, the nonsense, and people not using common sense with all of this conspiracy stuff going on. As well with this. why don't we just, basically say that, okay, June, this election, we need to stop the conspiracy about this ballot being voter suppression or this ballot being robbed and basically put it in, okay? And say that we're going to make a change because we need a new norm. We need to get away from not the old way that we used to live, but we need to get away from that and develop our new one, where we can actually get a politician who's working to give us across the board, the United States, $17 an hour minimum wage. We need to get into a new norm where, you know what, we're the most powerful, richest country in the known free world, and we don't have health care for everyone who wants or needs it.
Right, but here's my right. But part of getting into that new norm means getting rid of the old and bringing in some new. Right. So if we're not going to do that, and that's so what you're talking about is where I've been. Right?
Why are we not going to do that, Eric?
We're not going to do it. Right? We're not. I mean, you just look at. I'm afraid that it's not going to happen. Right? That the shiny object right now is the one guy at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and not the bigger picture, right? And including, and I want to talk about this. So, remember, it wasn't that long ago, guys. But remember, during the Democrat debates, at the beginning, all of them were being confronted with discussions around black people. And that prompted them to have conversations about reparations. Remember that? The R word. When was the last time you heard that, Vincent? So this is what I'm saying to you. So when you say that we need to have a new norm, we need to do these things. No, see, both parties, the game that they run is they wear you out, right? They wear you out. So they pretend to listen to you until you tire out talking about it. And then they move on because they never have an interest in addressing it. That's what we call pandering, right? So they say, oh, okay, here you come. Okay, go ahead. Tell me what you want to talk about. Oh, you want to talk about women's rights? Oh, you want to talk about this? Oh, you want to talk about this? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Black Lives Matter? Okay, come on. Oh, you want to talk about, you want to talk about me?
Buy a shirt.
You want to talk about Me Too? Yep. Okay, yep. You want to talk about reparations? Okay.
Bought a shirt for that too.
Right, that's right. So, but then at the end, none of it really matters to them because the people who matter are the ones who wrote the checks who got them in office. And those lobbyists who are with them writing legislation for them to go in there and pass, those are the people who matter to them. So now I'm watching this thing and they're having a discussion. And look, because you could always tell because they start floating it out there. So the thing that's floated out there now is, well, Biden needs to elect a woman, that's for sure. But, black people don't really care if it's a black person. In fact, we've done polling that shows that black people would be okay with Elizabeth Warren. Uh-oh.
Really?
Listen.
What black people they got signed on to that?
No, but this is a narrative now. I want you to understand. This is how it starts, guys. So now they're going to convince you that you're going to be okay with Elizabeth Warren. So we're in the beginning, I'm telling you, it was reparations. Black people need tangibles. What are you doing for us? Then you had Beto O'Rourke. You had Buttigieg. You had Elizabeth Warren was running from it, right? Remember her? She ran from the question. And you had other people, the only person in earnest who was talking about reparations was Marianne Williamson, right? And listen, and we didn't have the cojones to go and support her, right?
No.
What?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't, right? So we didn't go and support her. All the rest of them kowtowed and they, kind of said, yeah. Then you had some who took the end around. Yeah, some who took the end around, they said, you know what, I'm not even going to address it. I'm going to get I'm going to hire me some Negro whisperers and some slave catchers, and they're going to be distractors of the discussion around reparations. And so now here we are, they're dangling, I forgot the black woman now who Joe Biden just hired on
Stacey Abrams.
No, not Stacey Abrams. She's an MSNBC contributor. A beautiful
Rice.
black woman with short hair, right? So now
Yeah,
he's got
Dr.
her,
Rice.
right? They're like little trinkets on his necklace, right? So he's got her, he's got Stacey Abrams. He's gonna go get a couple more, right? And he's gonna surround himself with them, but he's not having a conversation. Not having a conversation, and neither are they. I want you to understand this. Neither are they. Because they believe that just their very presence is going to be enough for black people. But not a conversation. So when we talk about transformative change, that we need a new norm, I don't care what space it is, but for me, it's how do black people benefit? Because the conversation that they're having, look, I saw it happen in New Jersey, guys, right? We had Phil Murphy come through our community and say, look, I can't win without the black vote. In particular, I can't win without the black woman vote. And they gave it to him. What did we get in return? And I'm saying, here we have now, the presidential candidate saying, can't win without the black
What we got in return with Sheila Oliver.
I'm going to ask the question again. What did we get in return?
Okay.
So like, look, black faces without black voices don't help us. So I'm saying, let's look at the black people that he's putting there and understand what the word token means. Right? What is the tangible thing they're fighting for? And then I'm even disappointed in my man, Bernie Sanders. And Bernie Sanders says, look, at this point, the focus has to be on Donald Trump. So I'm going to all of my delegates and I'm saying to them, what? Don't be critical of Biden.
Openly.
Now, what? Openly. Don't be critical of him. Don't judge him. Give him a pass on everything.
Don't judge him in public.
Don't judge him in public. Give him a pass on everything. How dangerous is that? Don't critique him. Don't challenge his policies. Don't do anything. Just sit back. Oh my God. I can't believe that he actually said that. Don't say anything. Be silent. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Is that worth it? Is it worth it? Just let the man, because look, if I were to go back and play back every single criticism, just criticism that Bernie Sanders had, that all of Bernie Sanders supporters had, right? Nina Turner, Killer Mike, we go down the list of them. He's saying, shut up. Don't say anything now.
Not a word.
So when we talk, Vincent, about transformative politics, we talk about a new norm. That ain't gonna get us there.
Okay. Then express to me, Eric, what's going to get us to the new norm? I'd love to hear it.
Courage. I'm gonna try to take this call again, and if it hangs up on you, call back and I won't try anymore. Call or go.
Hello?
Oh, I got you, Vincent. So guys, I don't know what's going on with my phone, what's going on with the second line. But what's going to get us to the new norm, what's going to get us through is being singularly focused on an agenda for us, which is, and then when I say us, I'm talking about the 99%, right? And then I'm talking about foundational Black Americans, right? Because we've gotten off course. The coronavirus has gotten us off course. Right?
How can it get us off course when all it did was tear down the veils of the things that had us
No, because the reason it's gotten us off course, and this is what I keep tugging at, is off course says that everything that we're experiencing is Donald Trump's fault. That's off course, right? But if we say no, all this did was really tear down the veil that said that we were economically stable, right? That everything was okay, that our economy was good,
and securities.
that everything was working fine. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. And it hasn't been working fine for over 40 years. Right? So now we understand that. And so now logically we say, well, okay, if it hasn't been working fine for over 40 years, who have been the overseers of this? For 40 years or more. I go back and I continue to go back to, because Eric didn't say it, Dr. King in 52 said it. He said that that the theory of capitalism is outdated. When you have 40 million poor people in the richest nation in the world. And when he identified that, he declared himself as a Democrat socialist. That's in 1952. So the problems have been here. Right? But they kept throwing a veil over it, covering it up. But now it's all been exposed. And I'm saying that now, right, those who are most damaged, and we saw that too, are black people by this pandemic. And they're saying to you, the most at risk, we need you to do something for us again. And I'm saying, I'm begging, I'm pleading with you. Demand something.
Okay, so what do we need with this courage? Courage to do what? Demand something?
What we need is we need the courage to step outside of this abusive relationship, Vincent. You see, it's like a woman. You see where I'm going, right? It's like that woman who's getting her ass whooped every day, or that guy, because they're men in abusive relationships too. Mm-hmm. And they got friends on the outside saying, "Girl, pack your bags and leave." And then what did she say? But he said he loved me. He told me last night he loved me. But you could barely see him because your eyes are puffed up from being beat down 2 days earlier.
He said he was sorry.
He said he was sorry. See that? Because that's what these politicians are saying now. I'm sorry. But I'm not going to change. I'm sorry. I love you. But I'm not going to change.
I love you. I'm sorry. Eat
right?
Cake anime.
So we have to develop the courage. You say courage for what? Courage to leave. Courage to say, I've had it. I'm done. Nothing's going to change. You're not going to change. I got to go. Because I want better for me. And I can't rely on you. You got to have the courage to do that. Right? And then you demand stuff, right? But you got to love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You got to love yourself. You got to say, you know what? My lot in life isn't to be in this position. To be the commodity, the continued commodity to your wealth and to your power. You got to want that. And see, but the game is being played on both sides, because the Democratic Party, the elites within the Democratic Party, are culpable too.
Oh,
but
yeah.
they found the perfect distraction, and he's allowing himself to do it by his buffoonery, by his criminality, by all of the things that you want to bestow upon him. I give it to you. I'm not arguing it, but I'm saying that they looked and said, you know what, this guy is perfect for us, because he shows up on TV every day and he makes an ass out of himself, and it makes it easy for us to distract from all of the shit that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And all I'm saying is we have to stay focused on that. So in the middle of this, when you feel good because you see that Biden hired another black person, and I'm telling you, he's dangling Stacey Abrams out there. But he can't keep dangling her, because at some point some more serious black people are going to be asking, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're going to get into June and July and still haven't picked a vice presidential candidate? See, he wants to have enough runway or limit the amount of runway for people to come at him and say, wait a minute, how does a 70, what is he, 77, 78-year-old white guy go and pick a 70, how old is she? White woman, right? How do you go do that? Right? So there are going to be some people who do it. And we had this conversation, and I put it in a thread the other day where I said, you know what? 1.4 million black folks stayed home in 2016 because they asked that critical question. They said, what's in it for us? They didn't get an answer that was suitable.
Yes, and in staying home, that was a vote for Donald Trump.
Right. Well, see, we could argue that, right? I think that it showed courage. It showed courage. It said that I'm not just going to roll over and not get anything. And so the question that they have to ask, all of them, and I agree with this, each of those people who stayed home right now, they should be doing a cost-benefit analysis. Each of them. And saying, if I stayed home, I didn't vote, right? I'm saying this is what they said. Because I went and voted. Right? But they said, I stayed home and I didn't vote. And yes, my non-vote led to this.
Yes, shelter in place and you get $1,200.
No. So the question that each of them have to ask themselves is, am I worse off now than I was in 2015?
There you go.
Right? That's what they're going to have to each ask themselves. And I'm suggesting that they're not. I'm suggesting that each of them are going to look and say, no. There's no policy at the federal level that came down into my neighborhood and impacted me in a way and created a worse situation for me.
What?
Yeah. I'm going to tell you
Okay. But this policy, the policy of do nothing came down at the federal level.
No, see, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Watch and see. Watch and see. Watch and see what happens. So, you know, my hope is that, and I posted this, I said that I think the Democrats' strategy is, if at first you don't succeed, fail again. So, look, I just want the whole house clean. I want it all swept out.
So it's going to take a great deal of courage.
It's going to take a great deal of courage. But my fear is that if it doesn't, and I think that this is our chance. I think that right now there's been no better moment for black people in particular, but for the Poor People's Campaign in general, to rise up and say, you know what? We demand this, and we hold all of you accountable.
So what you're saying is it's our time. Carpe diem.
I think it is. I love the video that Killer Mike played, and I think it still stands true. I mean, unfortunately, Bernie Sanders is not going to be the nominee, but I think that what he said is true, that we cannot wait any longer. We can't. We won't make it through. We have been so weakened now. I'm talking about the 99%. That we wouldn't make it through another pandemic. We wouldn't. I mean, I want you to understand, look at how frail, how fragile we are right now. All of the people depending on a $600 boost in their unemployment checks.
Oh, yeah. Well, keep in mind this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, this is where Vice President Mike Pence, the head of the coronavirus task force, said that this will all go away. I'm waiting to see his prediction happen.
Yeah. All right, listen, we're at the end. I'm sorry, caller, because the person's still trying to call in, and I can't take the call. I apologize. But Vincent, thanks for hanging in there with me, man. You know, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for weighing in. I'm sorry I couldn't take more phone calls. Stay safe, stay vigilant, stay focused. Don't allow them to distract you. I sat there today and I had the split screen on my television, and I'm going from MSNBC to Fox News, and I tell you, they have both completely sold out now. MSNBC for the Democrats and Fox News for the Republicans. Those are their surrogates. And so very little real news is coming out of there. It's all slanted to favor their candidate and their party right now. God help us all if you're not a person who's intellectually curious enough to abandon that and go find the real news and information. God help us all. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Vincent. Hey, yo, man, I want some of those oxtails, man.
Oh man, was my wife in a tizzy? She ate 2 helpings of it.
Yeah, I want some of those oxtails.
Oh yeah.
And for all of you all who saw Diane's pound cake, I want
that pound cake.
I got to taste that pound cake yesterday, Vincent.
Oh.
I got to taste that pound. You know what would go good with your oxtails?
What's that?
I make an amazing coconut rice.
No.
See, we may have to do a swap like Deidre and I did for desserts, right? My cobbler for her pineapple upside down cake. We may have to do a swap so that I could create a beautiful bed of coconut rice, and then just stack a couple of those scrumptious oxtails over it, and then drizzle some of that gravy on top of that thing.
Oh, that gravy was the bomb with that red wine. Oh, that gravy was set off, brother.
Yeah, man. Hey, you guys stay safe. Thanks for tuning in. Vincent, I'm out.
All right. God bless everyone. Stay safe. If it's God's will, we'll be back and talk with you all again tomorrow.